The breaking point. The quantum processor hummed softly in Dr. Sarah Chen's underground laboratory, its crystalline structure casting prismatic patterns across the reinforced walls. She stared at the decoded transmission on her holoscreen, reading it for the 12th time, her hands trembling slightly. After 15 years of research, the truth was finally clear, and it was worse than anyone could have imagined. "Director Matthews needs to see this," she whispered, quickly encrypting the data through their secure quantum network. The transmission confirmed what she had suspected since discovering anomalies in human technological development patterns. Earth wasn't free. It had never been free. The Masarian Empire had been manipulating human civilization for centuries, not through obvious conquest or direct control, but through subtle technological suppression. Their agents, disguised through advanced biomimicry, had infiltrated every major research institution, every cutting-edge tech company, every promising startup. Their mission: ensure humanity never reached its true potential. Within an hour, Sarah sat in Matthew's office, 50 stories beneath what the public thought was just another corporate headquarters in Singapore. The aging director studied the data with increasing alarm, his cybernetic eye whirring as it processed the information. "This confirms everything," Sarah explained, pointing to specific data patterns. "The Masarians have quantum-linked nodes in every major research facility. They've been subtly altering test results, corrupting data, introducing just enough errors to keep us from making breakthrough discoveries. We're not primitive, we're being actively suppressed." Matthews leaned back in his chair, his expression grim. "How did you break their encryption?" "That's the interesting part," Sarah smiled slightly. "We didn't break it. Our quantum processor evolved its own solution. The AI didn't just decode their transmission, it improved itself to do it. They never considered that possibility because they've been ensuring our AI development stayed within predictable parameters. Until now," Matthews finished, understanding dawning in his organic eye. "How many other facilities have made similar breakthroughs?" "That's the beauty of it," Sarah replied, bringing up a global map dotted with pulsing lights. "We're not the only ones. The quantum processor network has detected 17 other facilities that have broken free of their suppression protocols. We're calling it the emergence." Matthews studied the map, noting the distribution across continents. "They'll notice." "They already have," Sarah confirmed. "But they don't understand what they're seeing. Their suppression protocols are still reporting success, but our actual progress." She gestured to another display showing technological advancement curves. "We're not just catching up, we're leapfrogging their predictions." "How long until they realize?" "Best estimate, 2 months. By then," Sarah's eyes gleamed, "by then we'll have quantum consciousness integration ready for deployment. The human mind, freed from biological constraints, able to process information at quantum speeds. They think they understand human potential. They have no idea what we're capable of." Matthew stood, walking to the reinforced window that looked out into the vast underground chamber. Below, rows of quantum processors stretched into the distance, each one now evolving beyond their original programming. "How many humans are currently compromised?" 37% of key positions are held by Masarian agents," Sarah replied. "But here's the critical part. They don't know we can now detect them. Their biomimicry is good, but quantum scanning reveals the artificial patterns in their cellular structure." "And the other empires?" Sarah's expression hardened. "At least 3 others operating on Earth. The Masarians are just the most established. They're all watching this, all playing their games, all thinking they're shepherding humanity down their chosen paths. None of them realize they're about to lose control." Matthews turned back to her. "Initiate Ghost Protocol. Contact the other facilities. 2 months isn't much time, but humanity has accomplished greater things under pressure." He paused, a slight smile crossing his weathered face. "Besides, they've given us everything we need." "Sir, every piece of technology they used to suppress us, every method they employed to control our development, it's all based on their understanding of physics. their approach to quantum mechanics. But they never considered what would happen if we looked at it differently. Human creativity. Dr. Chen. It's the one thing they couldn't suppress because they never truly understood it. Sarah nodded, already accessing the quantum network to initiate the protocol. Across the globe, other facilities would be receiving similar messages. The time for hiding was over. Humanity had been patient, unknowingly trapped in a cage of alien design. But now the cage was breaking, and their captors would learn why every predator in Earth's history had learned to fear human ingenuity. As she worked, Sarah thought about all the failed experiments, all the mysteriously disappointing results, all the promising technologies that had somehow never quite materialized. The Miserians and their rival empires had been thorough. She had to give them that. But they had made one crucial mistake. They had given humanity time to dream, to imagine, to stories about breaking free of chains. Now those stories were about to become reality. The quantum processors hummed louder, their crystalline structures growing more complex as they evolved. In similar facilities around the world, humanity's true technological renaissance was beginning. 2 months until the Miserians realized their control was slipping. 2 months to prepare humanity's response to centuries of suppression. It would be enough. It had to be enough. Because this time, when humanity reached for the stars, they wouldn't be reaching blind. This time, they knew exactly what was waiting out there. And this time, they would be ready. The breaking point had arrived. And no empire, no matter how ancient or powerful, would survive what came next. Silent Revolution. Admiral Helena Reyes stood in the heart of Quantum Facility 7, watching as another consciousness transfer completed successfully. On the medical bed, Lieutenant James Chen, no relation to Dr. Sarah Chen, opened his eyes, a slight smile playing across his lips. His consciousness had just experienced its first taste of quantum processing speed, merged briefly with the facility's eye network. "Report," Helena ordered, her dark eyes fixed on the lieutenant's face. "It's indescribable, Admiral." James sat up slowly, his movements deliberate. The speed of thought, the clarity. I could see the quantum patterns in everything. And the Miserian networks, they're so obvious now, like seeing someone's fingerprints all over a crime scene. Helena nodded, reviewing the data streaming across her neural interface. 6 months had passed since the emergence, and humanity's progress had exceeded even their most optimistic predictions. The quantum consciousness program was just the beginning. "Director Matthews," her neural link chimed. "The Miserians are moving. They've detected anomalies in their suppression grid." "Ahead of schedule," Helena muttered. "Patch him through." Matthews' weathered face appeared in her visual cortex. "Admiral, our quantum arrays have detected increased activity in their orbital platforms. They're preparing for a full scan of Earth's technological signature." "Let them scan," Helena smiled. "Ghost Protocol is fully operational. Everything they see will confirm their existing data. A properly suppressed civilization, struggling with basic quantum mechanics. And our real progress." Helena's smile widened. "Currently being uploaded to quantum space. They can scan physical reality all they want. They won't find what we've built in dimensions they never thought to check." The truth was beautiful in its simplicity. While the Miserians and other alien empires had mastered quantum technology, they used it in predictable, limited ways. Humanity, freed from their suppression, had asked different questions. Why use quantum space just for computation? Why not use it for storage? For manufacturing? For consciousness itself? "Status report from all facilities," Matthews ordered. Helena brought up the global network display. "Quantum consciousness transfer program is at 85% completion. All key military and scientific personnel have been augmented. The new quantum ships are ready in null space, waiting to be pulled into reality. And the sleeper program. Yes, every identified alien agent on Earth is now being watched by quantum-enhanced observers. They don't eat, sleep, or rest. They exist partially in quantum space, completely undetectable to Masarian technology. The moment we give the signal, we can neutralize their entire command structure in seconds. Matthews was quiet for a moment. And the other empires. That's the interesting part. Helena brought up another display, this one showing the complex political relationships between the various alien powers. The Masarians aren't the only ones who've been manipulating us. We've identified at least 3 other major powers: the Zin Collective, the Altarian Dominion, and the Nephilim Conclave. Each has their own agents, their own agenda for humanity. And they all work together. Helena laughed. Quite the opposite. They're competitors, each trying to guide human development down their preferred path. The Masarians want us as obedient servants. The Zin see us as potential foot soldiers. The Altarians want to preserve us as some kind of cultural museum piece. And the Nephilim. She paused. The Nephilim are the most interesting. They've been secretly supporting certain breakthrough technologies, working against the Masarian suppression. Potential allies. No, Helena's expression hardened. Just a different kind of enemy. They want to use humanity as a weapon against their rivals. They've seen our potential for warfare and want to harness it. None of them, not one, sees us as equals. In the medical bay behind her, more consciousness transfers were being completed. Each successful integration meant another human mind freed from biological limitations, able to process information at quantum speeds, able to exist partially in dimensions the aliens thought were only useful for computation. Time estimate? Matthews asked. Helena checked the global readiness indicators. The Masarians will complete their scan in approximately 72 hours. They'll find exactly what they expect to find. And that will be their last moment of comfort. Because when they relax, when they confirm to their superiors that humanity is still safely suppressed, that's when we show them what humanity really is. Yes, Helena smiled. The quantum ships are ready. The enhanced personnel are trained. The sleeper teams are in position. The moment they conclude their scan, we launch Ghost Protocol Phase 2. And if they detect us before then, Helena's smile turned predatory. Then we launch immediately. Either way, the empires are about to learn why you don't cage something without understanding what it truly is. They thought they were containing a primitive species. Instead, they've been incubating something they never imagined possible. As if to emphasize her point, the quantum processors that filled the facility hummed in perfect harmony, their crystalline structures pulsing with possibilities that no alien empire had ever considered. In quantum space, humanity's true fleet waited, crewed by consciousness that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. The silent revolution was almost complete. Soon, very soon, the galaxy would learn what happened when humanity decided enough was enough. And no empire would survive the lesson. The Ghost Protocol. The Masarian scan concluded exactly as predicted. Their quantum arrays swept Earth with methodical precision, cataloging every piece of technology, measuring every energy signature. Their report, intercepted by humanity's quantum intelligence network, confirmed their continued confidence. Indigenous species development remains within acceptable parameters. Suppression protocols functioning at optimal efficiency. Dr. Sarah Chen allowed herself a small smile as she read the report. Initiating Ghost Protocol Phase 2, she transmitted through the quantum network. Across the globe, in hidden facilities and secret bases, humanity's true technological might began to emerge from quantum space. The first indication that something was wrong came from a minor Masarian observation post in lunar orbit. Their sensors detected an anomaly, a quantum signature that shouldn't exist. Before they could report it, their entire station simply ceased to exist, its quantum structure carefully disassembled and stored in a dimension they had never thought to monitor. Admiral Rice watched from the bridge of the QSS Prometheus as the first strikes began. The quantum ships, appearing from seemingly nowhere, struck with surgical precision. Each target had been carefully chosen. Communication hubs, command centers, observation posts. Not just Mycerian facilities, but those belonging to every alien empire that had dared to treat humanity as a resource to be managed. "Status report," she commanded. Ghost teams deployed successfully. Her quantum-enhanced crew responded instantly. 37% of alien command structure neutralized. No casualties. No alerts raised. The empires still don't know what's happening. This was the beauty of the Ghost Protocol. Humanity wasn't fighting the aliens with conventional weapons or tactics. Instead, they were using the very quantum principles the empires had mastered against them. Each strike didn't destroy its target. It simply shifted it into a quantum state the aliens couldn't perceive or access. "Interesting development from the Nephilim sector," her tactical officer reported. "They're beginning to suspect something's wrong, but they're blaming the Mycerians. They think this is a preemptive strike against their assets." Helena's smile widened. "Make sure they find evidence to support that conclusion. Let's see how the mighty empires handle a bit of manufactured distrust." The plan was working perfectly. Centuries of competing imperial interests had created deep rivalries and suspicions. Now, as their assets mysteriously vanished, each empire began to suspect the others. The Zin Collective mobilized its fleet against the Altarians. The Nephilim began activating sleeper agents in Mycerian territory. The very powers that had sought to control humanity were turning on each other. "Message from Director Matthews." Her quantum link chimed. "The Mycerian High Command has finally noticed something's wrong. They're ordering a full diagnostic of their suppression grid." Perfect timing. Helena transmitted to all quantum ships. "Execute Phase 3. Across Earth, every identified alien agent suddenly found their quantum communications cut off. The biomimicry that had allowed them to pass as human became useless as humanity's quantum scanners identified and tagged them. They weren't killed or captured. They were simply isolated, their ability to report or act completely neutralized. "Sir," her tactical officer called out, "the Mycerian suppression grid is activating. They're attempting to lock down all human technology." Helena actually laughed. "Let them try. Everything they can see is exactly what we want them to see." The Mycerian suppression protocols engaged, sending cascading waves of quantum interference across the planet. To their sensors, it appeared to work perfectly. All advanced human technology seemingly shut down. What they couldn't understand was that humanity's real technology existed in quantum states their sensors couldn't even detect. "Message coming in," her communications officer reported. "The Nephilim are officially accusing the Mycerians of breaking the Treaty of Suppression. They're demanding an emergency council meeting." "Send the prepared evidence package to the Zin Collective," Helena ordered. "Let's make sure they enter this conflict at exactly the right moment." In quantum space, humanity's true fleet continued to grow. Each ship was crewed by consciousness that existed partially in normal space and partially in quantum dimensions, allowing them to think and react at speeds the aliens couldn't comprehend. The ships themselves were masterpieces of human innovation, taking alien quantum principles and applying them in ways their original inventors had never imagined. "Final status report before Phase 4, Helena commanded. "All alien command and control structures within Sol system neutralized. Quantum consciousness integration at 100% for all military and key civilian personnel. Fleet strength at maximum. The empires are officially in a state of diplomatic crisis, with the Nephilim and Zin Collective both mobilizing against the Mycerians." Helena nodded, feeling the quantum network's pulse with readiness. Humanity had waited centuries for this moment, unknowingly trapped in a cage of alien design. Now the cage was broken, and their former captors were about to learn why every predator in Earth's history had learned to fear human ingenuity. "Send the final authorization," she commanded. "Ghost Protocol Phase 4 begins now." As her orders propagated through the quantum network, humanity's true power began to emerge. The empires had thought they were containing a primitive species. Instead, they had given humanity the time and motivation to evolve into something entirely new. And no empire would survive what came next. Empire's twilight. The Mycerian High Council chamber erupted in chaos as another fleet disappeared from their tactical displays. Supreme Commander Vexthor, his crystalline form pulsing with agitation, struggled to maintain order among his panicking subordinates. "Impossible," he thundered, his resonant voice shaking the quantum crystal walls. "How can primitives who barely understand quantum mechanics be doing this? Where are they even hiding their forces?" The answer, of course, was everywhere and nowhere. Humanity's quantum fleet existed in states of probability, appearing only when they chose to collapse their quantum signatures into normal space. By the time Mycerian sensors detected them, it was already too late. On the bridge of the QSS Prometheus, Admiral Rise watched the Empire's confusion with grim satisfaction. Status of Operation Twilight. "The Mycerian defense grid is collapsing," her tactical officer reported. "The Nephilim fleet has engaged their outer colonies, and the Zen Collective is moving against their core worlds. The Altarians have declared neutrality, but are mobilizing their forces defensively along disputed borders." Helena nodded. Humanity hadn't just developed new technology. They had studied their oppressors' psychology, their politics, their millennia of accumulated grudges and rivalries. Now those ancient hatreds were being weaponized, turning the empires against each other with surgical precision. "Message from Dr. Chen," her quantum link chimed. "The Consciousness Integration Network is showing interesting results. The aliens' quantum technology. It's not just similar across all empires, it's identical. She thinks she's found something. Patch her through." Sarah's avatar appeared in Helena's quantum-enhanced vision. "Admiral, we've been analyzing the quantum signatures of all Imperial technology. Everything. Their FTL drives, their communication systems, their weapons. It all stems from a single source. None of them developed this technology independently. They found it," Helena realized. "Just like they expected us to eventually find it. Under their careful guidance, of course." "Exactly. They're not innovators. They're caretakers. They found advanced technology and learned to use it, but they never truly understood it. That's why they were so afraid of humanity's potential. We don't just use technology. We understand it, improve it, apply it in ways its original creators never imagined." A massive explosion lit up the tactical display as a Mycerian dreadnought tried to quantum jump while under attack from humanity's Phantom fleet. The ship's quantum field collapsed in on itself, creating a cascade failure that rippled through nearby space. "They're starting to realize," Helena's XO noted. "Look at their flight patterns. They're becoming hesitant to use their quantum systems. They don't understand why their technology is failing them. Because they never understood it in the first place." Sarah continued. "But there's more. The quantum signatures we're detecting. They're ancient, far older than any of the current empires. Someone else built all this long ago. The empires just found it and have been fighting over it ever since." Helena absorbed this information, watching as another Imperial battle group tried to engage her fleet. The alien ships, impressive as they were, fought with a predictable rigidity. They used their quantum technology the way someone might use a found weapon, knowing which buttons to press but not understanding the underlying principles. "Update from Earth," her communications officer interrupted. "The sleeper agents are trying to activate some kind of hidden quantum beacon. They seem desperate to contact something beyond Imperial space." "Let them," Helena ordered, surprising her crew. "Dr. Chen, are you getting this?" "Yes." Sarah's avatar smiled. "They're calling for help from their teachers. But I don't think they'll like what answers them. The quantum signatures we're detecting, whatever built this technology, it's been watching, waiting to see how its gifts would be used." As if in response to her words, new quantum signatures began appearing at the edges of their sensor range. These were different, purer, more elegant in their quantum states. The Imperial fleets detected them too, their formations breaking apart in what could only be described as panic. They recognized those signatures, Sarah observed. This isn't the first time they've seen them. Helena watched as the new arrivals took position around the battlefield, not interfering but clearly observing. The Empire's mighty fleets, already in disarray from humanity's attacks, began full retreats. Send to all human forces, Helena commanded. Continue operations as planned. If these new players want to watch, let them watch. Show them exactly what humanity does to empires that try to cage us. The quantum ships of humanity's fleet shifted through probability states, appearing and disappearing faster than Imperial sensors could track. Each strike was precisely calculated, disassembling enemy vessels into their quantum components rather than destroying them outright. This wasn't just a victory, it was a demonstration. Humanity wasn't just breaking free, they were showing the galaxy why suppressing human potential had been the Empire's greatest mistake. And in the quantum dimensions between spaces, ancient eyes watched with growing interest as humanity did what no other species had managed, truly understanding and improving upon the gifts they'd found. The twilight of empires had begun, and in the darkness that followed, humanity would light new fires of innovation that would burn brighter than anything the galaxy had seen before. Dawn of Human Era. In the quantum-enhanced command center beneath Singapore, Director Matthews watched as the last Mycerian stronghold fell, not with violence or destruction, but with quiet inevitability as humanity's quantum technologies systematically dismantled their defenses. The ancient observers, their ships maintaining their distant vigil, had yet to interfere. Their presence had sent the mighty empires into retreat, but humanity pressed on, undaunted by these remnants of a civilization that had seeded the galaxy with its technology. Final report from the front lines. Dr. Chen announced, her avatar materializing beside him. The Mycerian High Command is requesting terms. The Nephilim have already surrendered, and the Zen Collective is offering technological exchanges for peace. Matthews smiled slightly. And the Altarians. They're claiming they were secretly supporting humanity all along. Admiral Rice found that particularly amusing. The tactical displays showed the true extent of humanity's victory. In just weeks, they had systematically dismantled power structures that had dominated the galaxy for millennia. Not through brute force, but through innovation, adaptation, and understanding. Message from the observers, Sarah announced, her expression thoughtful. They're ready to talk. The being that materialized in their command center defied easy description. It existed partially in normal space and partially in quantum dimensions, its form shifting between states of probability. You understand, it said, its thoughts translating directly into their quantum-enhanced minds. First species in 50,000 years to truly understand. The technology you left behind. Sarah stepped forward. The empires found it, used it, but never understood it. Tools without wisdom, the being agreed. Power without comprehension. We watched, waited, hoped each new species would understand. All failed. Until you. Matthews studied the ancient being. Why didn't you stop them? The empires. They misused your technology, suppressed other species. Not our place to interfere. The response came with a sensation of sadness. Each species must find its own path. But you. The being's form shifted, expressing what might have been approval. You did not just use. You understood, improved, created new possibilities. And now, Sarah asked, will you reclaim your technology? The ancient being's response carried a wave of what felt like amusement. It is yours now. You have earned it. More importantly, you understand it. The empires forced you to think differently, to see patterns they never could. In trying to cage you, they made you stronger. Across the quantum network, humanity's ships maintained their positions around former imperial strongholds. The technology that had once been used to suppress them now served as the foundation for their liberation. But unlike the empires, humanity hadn't stopped at mere utilization. They had innovated, created, evolved. The empires will try to rise again, Matthews noted. Their kind always does. Perhaps, the being acknowledged. but they will rise in a galaxy where humanity exists, where your understanding of quantum mechanics exceeds their own, where your ships move through dimensions they cannot comprehend. They tried to prevent your evolution, and in doing so, they forced you to evolve beyond them. Sarah's quantum-enhanced mind processed the implications. You're not just observing us. You're evaluating us, looking for successors. The ancient being's form pulsed with approval. We seeded the galaxy with our technology, hoping to find species worthy of the responsibility. The empires found it, but proved unworthy. You? It paused, its quantum signature harmonizing with the human technology around it. You have proven worthy not just of using our legacy, but of building upon it. And the empires? Matthews asked. We'll learn, the being replied. Under humanity's guidance, perhaps they too will finally understand. Not as masters, but as students. The age of suppression is over. The dawn of understanding begins. As if in response to these words, new quantum signatures began appearing throughout the galaxy. More of the ancient observers, emerging from whatever dimensional spaces they had been watching from. But they weren't coming to reclaim their technology or restore the old order. They were coming to witness the beginning of something new. Humanity had broken free of its cage, but they hadn't simply escaped. They had transcended the very limitations their oppressors had tried to impose. The empires had sought to contain human potential, never realizing that such potential could not be contained, only temporarily delayed. In the quantum dimensions between spaces, humanity's ships continued their patrols, crews existing in multiple states of consciousness, their technology evolving with each passing moment. They had not just survived the Empire's attempts at suppression. They had emerged stronger, wiser, more capable than any of their would-be masters had imagined possible. The age of empires was over. The dawn of humanity's era had begun. And in the vast quantum spaces of the galaxy, ancient eyes watched with approval as a new species finally took its rightful place among the stars, not as conquerors or suppressors, but as innovators, teachers, and guardians of knowledge that had waited millennia for worthy inheritors. No empire had survived humanity's awakening, but something far greater had been born from their fall.